Welcome back to the Convo Couch Late Night. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella.
And Johnny Sue is spinning on the ones and two. And Evie and Spoiled Boom Boom are here in the casa. We are having some lima beans, garbanzo beans, all types of beans.
You're not eating any of that
beans.
because you eat your meat, so you can go eat
Yes,
your meat.
I'm going to have some barbecue leftovers.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that really doesn't sound good, fam. You're lucky it's after 9 o'clock. You're talking about eating meat and stuff. And
Well,
come on.
you put that connotation out there. I didn't.
I certainly did not. I talked about beans.
Well, maybe the person laughing in the back is the one that needs to get her mind out of the gutter.
Good for your heart. The more you eat, the more you... So, Wisconsin primary, fam. Can you educate us on what's going on over there?
Okay, so...
It's on?
It's on right now, but that's changing by the minute because earlier today I had on the executive director of Our Revolution, Mike McCabe, and he was talking to us about how the governor issued an executive order saying that we are going to postpone these elections till June and we're going to give people time to mail their absentee ballots and all that good stuff. Then, of course, the state legislator came back and went to the Supreme Court of the state, and they overruled the governor, saying that the election will move forward. And there was, I think, one dissenter. This just shows just how bad Democrats have it. I mean, you have a completely Republican electorate, and if your Democrat, that was the governor, waited till the last minute and is grandstanding now, acting like, oh, it's the Republicans, when he was absolutely in line with the Republicans this whole time. This is why he waited, and nobody's buying it. So they overrode this whole order. And
Tony Evers we're talking about, right?
Yes, Tony Evers is a Democratic governor, and
any blue will do, fam.
And he overrode, and he tried at the last minute to postpone the elections, and then he knew that they would say no and override this. So this is what we were discussing earlier, was what Mike was saying, was that this was likely to happen, that they were likely to do. Now, what makes it worse is that the Supreme Court of the United States also ruled, because at least they had time to have their absentee ballots, but the Supreme Court of the United States actually ruled that the absentee ballots postmarked after tomorrow will not be accepted now. And I have the document here. Oh, it's up there. But it's the only dissenting judge of the Supreme Court that said, no, we can't have this election, was Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And she's literally old, and she's awesome, but she's old. No, none of them. Only she's the one dissenter. And here's the document on. You can just look through it, Johnny. It's a long document, but basically, she at the end she starts talking about why she dissented. And
back to page 1.
I think let's see. She just talks about while I do not doubt the good faith of my colleagues, the court order, I fear, will result in a massive disenfranchisement. A voter cannot deliver for post-marketing a ballot she has not received. Tens of thousands of voters who timely requested ballots are unlikely to receive them by April 7th, the court's postmark deadline. And she's entirely right, because here's the thing. There, at least right now, at least 10,000 people who requested an absentee ballot on time and are not going to receive it.
So what it was Ruth's decision, I'm kind of confused. Why did she say that she's the only one as opposed to the other ones? Did the other ones give a reason why they said they wouldn't be counted with a pandemic? Did they give any logic behind?
Well, their logic is that our elections are important and we need to promote democracy and not disenfranchise people by canceling an election. That's their...
Oh,
yeah. She's
really?
The one that wants to postpone it so everybody can vote. But all the other judges were saying, no, this is not...
That's not supporting democracy in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's disgusting. I mean, we're screwed. I mean, this is what the Democratic Party led us to. Yeah. I mean, this Trump didn't happen overnight, you guys, and he he appointed 2 people, but I mean, that's it.
That's it. I mean,
let's be real.
Where was Sotomayor? Okay, the big Obama appointee. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be Ruth and Ruth only. That's just a shame, fam. So did OR have something to say?
So our Wisconsin Revolution said that, explained this very well in an email, saying Wisconsin Supreme Court overruling of the governor's order to postpone tomorrow's election until June. The U.S. Supreme Court moments ago in that Wisconsin cannot accept absentee ballots postmarked after Tuesday. So now it's a double whammy, like I said, because the state Supreme Court said no, postponing to the election. And then the U.S. Supreme Court said, no, we're not going to accept absentee ballots. So that means that they're making people go to the polls, because if your absentee ballot is, if you didn't ask for one, if you didn't get one, they're saying, well, you have to go to the polls now. That's what they're saying.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If you're a bookmaker, we know you're a certified TV doctor. But let's say if you're a bookmaker.
I got my scrubs in.
You do. You did.
Yeah.
Say if you were a bookmaker, what percentage of people do you think are going to stay at home in Wisconsin due to the coronavirus?
Probably like 80.
That would have voted.
A lot of people. There are people like crying right now because
Johnny,
they're
what
like,
would you set it at?
I'd say like 80 something percent.
So saying half is being generous.
Yeah.
Okay. And that alone, if you just think about the magnitude of how many votes will be lost, half of those votes. And once again, late votes are progressive votes.
Yeah.
They're Bernie Sanders votes.
So, this decision, he continues, was rendered despite the fact that large numbers of voters who have requested absentee ballots still have not received them and are expected to return them tomorrow. We can't leave any stone unturned in responding to this madness. Thank you, everyone who responded to my message of contacting Wisconsin Department of Health Services Secretary designee Andrea Palm to urge her to intervene, as her counterpart in Ohio did. Those calling Palm's office found her voicemail to be full. You can also try emailing her here or calling here. Here's what the law states about the Department of Health Services. So basically the law just says that they have the authority, the Department of Health Services, and I'm going to show you guys later.
To shut it down?
They have the authority to shut it down. Also,
like they did in Ohio, right?
Exactly. The way they did it in Ohio.
Got it.
Also, in addition to that, individual counties can say we're not going to open up, and Milwaukee has already done that. Milwaukee has said we are not going to open up any polling stations. So by default, it should be enough to offset the like, it's one of Milwaukee County is the largest county. Mm-hmm. So if those people can't vote, you're literally disenfranchising the majority of people in Wisconsin.
They're not going to go out tomorrow. I mean, this is the worst 2 weeks, right? We have to. Yeah. This is it. Like we're catching up now to. We're 2 weeks behind Spain, 2 weeks behind Italy. Mm-hmm. They got hit so hard 2 weeks ago. Forget about it. So I mean, why would anybody risk their health? I wouldn't do it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I was afraid to go out today for food. Well, not really totally because I need food. But, you know, I mean, seriously, I mean, this is bullshit that they're going along with it. It's just so kind of, it's so freaking, how hypocritical of the judges, the Supreme Court, to say it's undemocratic to not postpone it because you're not promoting democracy. You're doing the opposite of that.
Yep. And the sad thing, or the good thing, is that people have been calling for multiple states, Florida from Ohio. Why? Because these states, Ohio managed to do it, and Florida also had consequences as a result of not doing this. Yep. As a result of people not staying home, as a result of people going through the election, we're seeing people get sick. Florida is like not too far behind California now. Yeah. I mean, their numbers are rising, and this is what happens, you know, and Arizona and Illinois, same thing. They decided, hey, we're going to be calling. And what else can people do is, I don't know, reach out to this Andrea woman. She's the one that they need to convince. What is that? Okay. And here's the part I wanted to show you guys is this part right here. And it says, underscoring the executive branch's ability to take action in circumstances such as these, even the Secretary of Department of Health Services, this is why they're trying to contact her, is authorized to act. Specifically, this stat provides the department may close schools and forbid public gatherings in schools, churches, and other places to control outbreaks and epidemics. Even more broadly, the department may authorize and implement emergency measures necessary to control communicable diseases. Yeah. So they have the authority to do this. You can't really say.
They're trying to call her. The line's not getting through. They're trying to email her. They gave additional phone number. They're trying to track this lady down to at least get her on record to say, hey, you need to save this day. You need to call it. Yeah. But for some reason, maybe she's not available.
Well, and here's the thing. These politicians aren't facing the people, and they're going to be primaried. But another thing is that Ohio fought to the very last second against their primary. I mean, it was the same thing. They were like, yes, we're on. No, we're not. And activists and organizers got together and fought till the very last second. And a lot of my friends in Wisconsin right now, or I know, are doing that. There is a call to have a car caravan to demand Andrea Palm act to protect health in this election through an emergency order. The protests will be around the Capitol. 1 West Wilson Street in Madison starting at 6 a.m. And this is just Madison, Wisconsin, which is the second largest county in Wisconsin. And I know they already closed so many polling stations. I know Milwaukee, they went from 180 to 5.
That's ridiculous.
And
I was in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a huge city.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just not going to happen.
They don't need more than 5 because they're not going to even get enough to get 5 out there. But I love the idea of the car thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, people are trying. People are doing whatever they can to make this happen. So.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I love the whole car thing. I have an idea for something down the road. I was sharing it with Eva. I want to say thank you in late nights to all the people on the Convo Couch YouTube. All the usual suspects are there. Sorry. Some new people I see hanging on out. Thank you so much for joining us. And for Rocky Bellinger and crew.
Newly plebeian people.
Plebeian.
Workers Unite.
Is the ROKFIN premiere or is it regular? It's free today. Guys, listen. If you haven't gone over to our ROKFIN, ROKFIN, the Convo Couch, please do so. Tonight, Johnny tells us, a little late, it's free. It's not premiere. It's not premium. So that means you can watch it for free. All you have to do is sign up and sign up for free. So that's the first step. If you can eventually afford to give us $10 a month down the road, you can do that. But tonight, sign up for free. Check out the ROKFIN. It's got its own chat. It's a clean system. We love our ROKFIN because it's raging against the machine, getting it out of the corporate hands. It's a cryptocurrency-based platform, all this whole thing. And on Wednesdays only Wednesday, we do a ROKFIN exclusive just for those people over there, so it's kind of fun. So ROKFIN, check us out if you could do so. Fam, did you know, did I tell you that I went to Alyssa Milano's wedding?
No, I think I forgot that you told me that.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I went to Alyssa Milano's wedding because I was a friend of hers back in the days. I was more of a friend of her brother's, but I was a friend of hers, and back in the days, I used to love the girl. She was a big Bernie supporter.
Yeah, she was great.
She used to go and fight for water for people in African villages.
Yeah.
She was honored by the UN one year for doing that. She was a really down-to-earth person, but the thing is, fam, and I'll let you go, I'll start from there. The thing is that I don't think she sold out. I think she bought in. I think she bought into the whole CAA, kind of like acting Hollywood as a part of, the deep state and the establishment. And, we got Jack Ryan. And I think she kind of bought into all that. And plus she had kids. And since Trump has a vulgar mouth.
That feels a little bit like rationalizing. I mean, I think that is selling out. I mean, it's the literal definition of it. I mean, whether you get bought in or it's the same difference.
It is.
You buy into whatever is the establishment narrative, because it's so much easier to be a part of this than go against it. And a lot of people have bought into that. We've seen people go, like Joanne Reed, who used to be a huge Bernie supporter, pretty much just fall in line. And
she bought in.
Rachel Maddow was another one that used to be more progressive, and then she bought into the whole Russiagate and all these other things.
Chris Matthews.
It's just you could go on and on and on. But I think one of the things this is why my focus is always economics. It's always class war, because the reality is a lot of these people have like an inability to be in touch with everybody else, because they live in an isolated world and in an isolated echo chamber where they only hear what their friends say, and they think this is what everybody thinks, but they don't realize like how privileged they are to live like that. I think it's definitely out of touch, and I don't think it's limited to Alyssa Milano. I think it's limited to even some of our own, our politicians, even people, even Bernie Sanders, even the Tulsi Gabbards of the world. They don't see how we really, really will not vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you guys say or do. We are not voting for Joe Biden. And we have every right to do that, especially after having a rigged election for 4 years ago and now again. And nobody's really talking about it except a few voices on the left. So Alyssa Milano pretty much explained in a podcast why she is still supporting Biden, because she's been getting so much backlash from Bernie supporters and other people, not just Bernie supporters, for being hypocritical in supporting the Me Too movement and Time's Up and talking about sexual abuse and being an advocate for that, and then going around and endorsing a guy who has 8 accusations against him. And these accusations are very believable, and just juxtaposing how she was able to rationalize against Kavanaugh, and then by the same token completely ignore or dismiss, more so is dismiss is the word, what Tara Reid was saying. So let's hear a little bit of that.
Can I ask you a question,
Yeah.
Johnny? Was this Sorry Not Sorry, or did she go on somebody else's podcast to do that? Okay, so she went on somebody who has how many subscribers? Get the hell out of here. She could have came on our show. We got 28. No, can't do that. Got it.
About Harvey as well.
Okay.
Because I believe that even though we should believe women, and that is an important thing, and what that statement really means is, like, you know, for so long the go-to has been not to believe them. So really we have to sort of societally change that mindset to believing women, but that does not mean at the expense of not giving men their due process and investigating situations.
I like that.
And giving, you know, it's got to be fair in both directions.
Okay.
So, you know, I've been very vocal about Biden and my support for him. I've known him for a long time, and I did do my due diligence because part of it was that, and the article that sort of stood out to me was that Time's Up decided not to take the case. And so, you know,
that was important to you. That meant, well, maybe there's more to this story here.
Right. I did my work, and I spoke to Time's Up, and I just don't feel comfortable throwing away a decent man that I've known for 15 years.
Yep.
In this time of complete chaos without there being a thorough investigation.
Yep.
I'm sure that mainstream media would be jumping all over this as well if
we weren't in a pandemic. If there was more credible, if there was evidence
if they found more evidence or through their investigation. So I'm just kind of staying quiet about it. And because I'm staying quiet about it,
you were getting dragged on Twitter by Bernie Bros.
Right. They're calling me hypocritical for
look how she got a ratio,
you know, and saying that I'm a fake feminist and all of this stuff. And I'm still trying desperately to stand back and be sort of objective about this, because I don't want this to, you know, I sent the Me Too tweet over 2 years ago. I never thought that it would be something that was going to destroy innocent men, right? Like, I don't want that to happen either.
Not all men.
So we have to find this.
All right. It's funny that the rhetoric like this comes out now. You know what I'm saying? I think that was always, because that was the always argument. You'd hear somebody say, believe women. And you're like, well, you know, man, it's not that I don't believe women. I believe, listen to women, but I believe in due process. So now she's taking the whole due process argument, and it's trying to make it work for her now when she was completely the other way.
Yeah, and
back
we're going to
in
show exactly how completely the other way she was.
She's being hypocritical, fam.
It's beyond hypocritical. I mean, it's just completely in
beyond
denial. Here's the thing. I believe in due process too, and there are people that lie, right? And this has happened. I've seen it happen multiple times. However, what are you basing on Tara Reid's confession being not credible? Like, what is the basis here? Like, there's
no
this
evidence,
podcaster,
fam. Nobody
like,
saw it.
Oh yeah, let me just
And I'm staying silent about it on a
let
podcast.
me just like be a fangirl to you, Alyssa. Like, what evidence do you see that doesn't support what she's saying any more than what Christine Baisley Ford said about Kavanaugh? I mean, the timing was around the same amount. It was years and years later. You can't say that. And now you're trying to tell me, you're trying to convince me that the mainstream media would have absolutely jumped on the story if it were more credible? Do you expect us to believe that when they completely jumped on every single thing that Donald Trump has done? Just even the things he said when he said grab them by the pussy. Okay, he said it. This guy's actually doing it. He's actually doing that. He did that. And okay, forget that Donald Trump incident. What about the accusations? Okay, it was a porn star and whatever. Like, none of the allegations Trump has had were as bad as the ones Biden has. Not to mention Anita Hill, and everybody keeps forgetting about Anita Hill. And how
that was terrible.
How much power he had in that situation, and how he uses power to suppress her voice. That alone should never be forgotten.
Well, the QAnon people, out there who protect Donald Trump will kind of point out the fact that Joe is always sniffling and touching little girls all the time. The most hands-on we've seen for Donald Trump was probably that old school video of him and Epstein where he kind of rubbed a model a little bit, a Buffalo Bill cheerleader. He put his hand kind of on the side. Okay. So he's been a germaphobe, so you don't see that kind of shit. So when this plays out, whether Donald Trump is as much as a pig as Joe Biden, there's just ample amount of evidence out there of Joe Biden touching little girls and sniffing their hair and trying to kiss them on their cheek. And people we've seen so many girls pulling away. I mean, he's just going to get eaten up like in a blender. And the fact that Milano wants to sit here now and just be a Monday morning quarterback when it's convenient.
Yeah,
for
it's
her.
politically expedient now to do so.
Can we show Conrad Slim Thick's a meme underneath this? Family, read your tweet here when it says "Believe Women."
Okay, so she said, "Believe women" does not mean everyone gets to accuse anyone of anything, and that's that. It means that our social mindset, societal mindset and default reaction shouldn't be that women are lying.
She got ratio too.
Keep reading.
4.9 to
I'll go back in a minute. So she's basically bullshitting, and you wanted to read this one.
I just wanted to show Comrade Slim Thick. I don't know if that's not the one. It says it's the one with Andy from Office Space, and says, "How are you not murdered every hour?"
I don't know why it comes up on mine, but not on his.
Well, he clicked onto the actual thing. If you go back one, Johnny, if you go back on the thread. Maybe the thread.
That's the thread.
Well,
yeah.
Never mind.
Well,
no big deal. But it was a funny one, and I like who's Comrade Slim Thick.
That's Maria.
You know it,
Miss Guido.
What up, Miss Maria?
So I wanted to point out a couple things here because Alyssa has this is her hypocritical moment, and I think that you have it up here already. Yeah. So she said. This is what she said before, and I have a picture of it. This is during the time when it was about Trump and Kavanaugh. Right. She said, "You can't pretend to be the party of the American people and then not support a woman who comes forward with her Me Too story." Not doing that anymore. Hey, real Donald Trump, listen the fuck up. I was sexually assaulted twice. Once when I was a teenager. I never got a police report. It took me 30 years to tell my parents. If any survivor of sexual assault would like to add to this, please do so in the replies. The words of Me Too connected us through pain, but they also connected us to our power. Today, once again, we must connect to that power. We are all Anita Hill. We are all Christine Blasey Ford. We have the power to stop Kavanaugh. Let's get to work.
We're all Anita Hill today, right? Tara Reid's story is not. We're all Anita Hill today, Alyssa. Sorry, fam. Go ahead.
It's just insane to me.
God.
I just don't understand.
Hypocritical, man.
And Rose McGowan had something to say about Alyssa Milano because Rose McGowan had zero problem telling her. And I watched Charmed at one point in my life, and Charmed was like where Rose McGowan and Alyssa Milano worked together.
Mm-hmm. Rose McGowan at the time was dating who?
No. Who?
Marilyn Manson.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Interesting. And she said, "You are a fraud. This is all about holding the media accountable. You go after Trump and Kavanaugh saying believe victims. You are a lie. You have always been a lie. The corrupt DNC is in the smear job of Tara Reid. Is in on the smear job of Tara Reid. So are you. Shame." And yeah, she said.
She also said on a show, right? Are you gonna play that? Probably.
No, I don't.
Okay, she said she goes, "I don't believe her. She's a fraud. She's married to a CAA agent." You know what I'm saying? Like she talked about that.
Oh yeah. She said.
Which I met Dave before, and Dave seems like an amazing guy. But I don't go to work with him, and some of the people he breaks bread with at CAA, he can play good hockey, on real hockey, not on the sticks. But some of his friends, Alyssa's ex, Michael Kives. questionable thing with these people, whatnot. So it doesn't. I don't doubt all these stories from all these people. 1 minute, for 1 minute, I wouldn't doubt them because all these people, they think they can do what the hell they want.
Yeah,
man. They really think they're untouchable people, and that's who Alyssa Milano is standing behind right now.
That's exactly who she's standing behind. And one person that's gotten a lot of flack is Brianna Joy Gray, and so has Nina Turner, by the way. Of course, they happen to be two women of color. It's interesting. They erase them as if they're not even they're called Bernie Bros. They're not even called females anymore, women. So she said yesterday a Warren surrogate shared an alt-right meme denigrating black female Bernie staffers, which again, these are the people that have been coming after her. And today's Biden surrogate is sharing fake news from Ben Shapiro. Allowing bigotry and misinformation in our party diminishes our ability to distinguish Dems from Trump come the fall. And she had lied, saying that Bernie suggested he would not have shut down travel to the U.S. amid coronavirus outbreak. And of course, this ended up not being true. And she completely took it out of context. And so you can read all the all the replies of people saying their etc. All the things that people were saying. But she's really getting ratioed, and she's just attacking Bernie Sanders. And it's funny to me how much she's attacking Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders isn't even attacking. Yeah, she used to support him, but he's not even attacking Joe Biden at all. Like, he has never even said a single word, to the dismay of many of his supporters. Why haven't you addressed the Tara Reade situation? Right? Like, he's not even saying anything. This is why it doesn't matter that he behaves a certain way, because they're going to treat him like this, whether he says floral, wonderful things about Biden or whether he doesn't. So you might as well tell the truth about Joe Biden, because it's not helping you one bit to stay silent, especially when these people are attacking people like Brianna Joy Gray, people like Nina Turner, a lot of the supporters, and then of course when AOC goes on The View, she pretty much validates the Bernie bro narrative. So
yeah, I know. Do you know the Warren surrogate who shared an alt-right meme? Do you know what that is? I
think it was that woman that has been after her. What's her name? I forget.
I mean, is the term alt-right necessary in this particular situation, though, fam?
I'm not really.
I'm gonna go research it one now, because I would have liked to have just seen without. Because here's the thing: the way that people were kind of like muddying the water with Joe Rogan. We heard that Joe Rogan was alt-right all the time, alt-right all the time, alt-right all the time. So I'm just curious.
I mean, sometimes it is though.
Sometimes it is, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. To see that, what was, I would like to look at that and investigate a little bit more about that. But no doubt about it, the fact that Alyssa Milano going after Bernie Sanders now is a little odd. I mean, it's not odd. It's, once again, she bought into the whole CAA establishment. Remember, all these guys in CAA, they were big. Michael Kives, too, as well. Big Hillary Clinton supporters, you know what I'm saying? So, donated money. A lot of the people in that whole field, what's his name? The actor, George Clooney, CAA guy. So she bought into that whole get in line and do what's right. Chelsea Seitz says, sunglasses with smiles. You get this a super sticker for 99 cents. Thank you, Chelsea, for the super chat sticker. We got 172 people watching over there. Rocky Bellinger is holding it down. We definitely need more Dolphin. Johnny, get him with the pinks. Holding down, there it is, holding down the ROKFIN. So let's talk about the CARES Act, fam, because the CARES Act is bad. And right now, things are coming to fruition. As the 900-page bill starts to unveil its ugly head, we see more bad stuff out there now. Go ahead.
I just have you seen Tulsi's video on the CARES Act?
She did something today?
Or she said she made a statement on it, actually, a tweet from her rep account. You should probably read it.
From a rep account? I'm going to go look, because I've been looking for... I didn't look at today's Tulsi stuff.
Johnny.
The rep account. But, now, let me tell you something. I told her on the show 2 days ago. Remember when I lost my shit? And I even kind of said to Jimmy when he was on the show, enough. Like, Tulsi, stop being so aloha about this bill. Start calling this shit out. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. There were no strings attached. There's a ton of red tape, right? So let's talk about Zero Hedge. So I went to Zero Hedge.
Do you want to read it?
You got it. Okay. Okay, it says the recent passage of the CARES Act provided critical assistance for individuals, businesses, and essential services. We are starting to see these resources delivered to Hawaii. Congresswoman, you have to watch this show.
And
they're going directly to support our communities and our counties and supporting our housing programs for those in need. Okay. Once again, you're talking about the cheese. You're saying this is like the best cheddar you can get.
yeah.
I don't care. Yes, there is some assistance for people out there, and this is different than TARP last time because we're told to stay at home.
Yeah.
Businesses are closing down. They will close down. I don't think we're going to just go out there and when this is over, fam, and it's going to be business as usual.
No.
A lot of things going to change.
No.
I mean,
yeah.
can we all agree on that, Johnny? It's not going to be the same thing. Changes will be made. Businesses will be closed down. I don't know what new businesses will be started, but we have to talk about the real issues within the CARES Act because once again, Wall Street got their handout. So let's start off with the first article. And it says millions of small businesses are experiencing what, fam? Red tape. Here we go. They learned they're not eligible for the bailout loans.
Yep.
So now all of a sudden you got a business that says, hey, man, we need this money, whatnot. Yeah, no.
And they don't really give him a good explanation. Bank of America has been rejecting so many people. What does that mean? That means that all the money that these people were given is literally staying at the top.
Yep. It's going to stay at the top.
All
The
these
banks are going to hold on to it.
Hold on to their money.
So number one, people file all these small businesses. We said there's going to be a problem because 99% of the business in America are small businesses. There's going to be so much red tape. Once again, who's making these decisions at top? We have to ask the questions. It ain't the Boy Scouts. Let me put it that way. So we know there's a lot of red tape. Also, here we go again. The second article I pulled up. Okay. Not only is there red tape and they're having a hard time to get the loans, Wall Street wins again. Bank forces Treasury to double the rate on the small business rescue loan. So once again, out of the gate, they doubled it on the loan. So instead of 0.5, it's a percent, it's 1%. Once again, the banks are going to generate extra money off of who? The small businesses back.
Which translates to the middle class. And again, there is a very small middle class, and I think that middle class has shrunk to almost nothing now because of what they're doing. And then all that is a working class. And guess what? These people, they're done. We're going to see the strike movement. We're going to be talking about that in the next few days because that movement is growing because these people are fucking up so bad that they're driving people who were never even interested in politics to literally get radicalized. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. And Congresswoman, I didn't know if you know that, but now you might be getting that money in assistance, and that's very good. That's very aloha. But you know what's not aloha? In the next couple months' crisis, where about 30% of all mortgages will be in default, the biggest ways of delinquencies. Now, I want to point this out because on the first one right now, fam, I got a couple clips from the show The Big Short to kind of explain what happened. It was a little bit of a different crisis then. What they did is they layered trillions of CDOs and CDOs squared, okay, inside, which was a mechanism which they used, which artificially inflated the price of the houses. Also, the scene that you talked about doing, the subprime loans. All these subprime loans were out there, which meant shit. They spiked. So now you have an increase of the property taxes because the house is spiking. You can't sell the house. Then you have a subprime loan, and it's really hitting you in the nuts. So you are forced to be screwed over. Now, what's happening in this situation is that they understand they don't have to use the mechanism. The mechanism is the fact that the coronavirus and the payments and the money that you make will be shortened. Okay, yeah. So now you'll have a shortage of funds to pay your mortgages as they catch up. Because remember, fam, in the CARES Act, there's no rent moratorium. There's no mortgage moratorium. It's not a freeze. There's no forgiveness. Everything is kicked back from when you could be evicted or when you could be charged. They can't increase the rents right now and stuff. That's the only thing they got. But guess what? All that money that you owe, they're going to come looking for it. If you don't have that money, guess what they're going to do? They're going to pull the rug right out from underneath you, fam, and they're going to take your homes. 30% of all mortgages will be in default by the end of when? 6 months, a year from now? They did the same thing with TARP. They're just using another mechanism. They're using the pandemic to take advantage of the situation when they used CDOs and subprime loans the last time.
Yeah.
So, but, I didn't know we were going to have a Wisconsin show. And, I put in a couple clips from our movies, what a CDO is. Because I think it's important to understand the mechanisms, what they do. At the end of the day, they want to make sure that you get in default so they can seize the bank. The bank can seize the property from you. So this is just a little small clip from The Big Short showing what a CDO is.
It's too curious to explode.
Hold on. Say that again. CDO A has parts of CDO B, and CDO B has parts of CDO A, but then they both get put inside CDO C.
Yeah, that one's called CDO squared. A CDO of a CDO. All right? And then there's CDOs made up of the opposite side of the bet you made with the swaps. We call them synthetic CDOs.
What did you synthetic CDOs?
Synthetic CDOs.
That is fucking crazy.
It's not. It's awesome.
His face is starting to boil. He looks like the bad guy from Doom.
All right, let's say
Okay, so that was that one. And also, too, the subprime situation. Once again, remember, they force people into bad
Now
loans.
fuck off.
Yes, I wanted to play this because I know Fiorella is going to do a scene like this for us for the Convo Couch with politics. And I think she just wants to drink champagne and take a bubble bath. But here is Roby. Little quick scene. Go ahead, Johnny.
By the way, these risky mortgages are called subprime. So whenever you hear subprime, think shit. Our friend Michael Burry found out that these mortgage bonds that were supposedly 65% AAA were actually just mostly full of shit. So now he's going to short the bonds, which means to bet against. Got it? Okay. Now fuck off.
Yeah, family let that
Hilarious.
play. So the last time what they did is they used the subprime loans, which are shit loans with bad credit rating and whatnot. And as the economy kind of slowed down and the mortgage rate went up, it created a void where you couldn't make up that money. And eventually you got into default and the banks took back the houses. And everything was speculation. Like I said, the CDOs and the CDO squares, they were just speculating, putting all this money on. It's piles of loans. Which people are depending on. Now, according to estimates by Moody's Analytics, the chief economist, Mark Zandi, as many as 30% of Americans with home loans, about 15 million households, about 15 million households could stop paying if the U.S. economy remains closed through the summer and beyond. So this could be worse than TARP, fam. More people can use it
It's
on the street.
absolutely going to be
Now,
worse.
I want to say this right now because this is important. I know most of the economy is poor. And some of the cheese they're giving us now might be a little bit more than what we got before. They're giving us time. Now, remember, we owe everything back on the rent and the mortgages, whatever. But the people who do have mortgages, a lot of people, the small middle class we have, people who, really depend, they have a good job, whether the case they make, like I had. When we met, okay, I had a really decent job where I made a decent amount of money. Now, if I was head of household with kids and I bought a house and this situation happened, I'm going to be screwed because the unemployment calculator doesn't work out for us.
Right.
It doesn't work out for us, even with the 600
You make
on top.
too much money, but too little money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm right in that gap because I don't have enough. If I made more money, I'd have savings. And people, the corporations who have a lot of these houses, a lot of these homes out there, they're going to be fine. But the individual families, the small families who had, bought a house. Can you imagine if Johnny got a good engineering job right out of work, right out of school? 6 years later, he met a nice girl and then he bought a house and he was making $3,000 a paycheck. Oh, excuse me, $3,500, $4,000 a paycheck. And $4,000 a paycheck is still $80,000 a year. It's $96,000 a year. You're going to clear $80,000 after your taxes. That's there are higher paying jobs out there like that. That's what I used to make. But those people are going to have their houses snatched right out underneath them. So everybody thinks with this money coming to 1,200, it's crumbs. It's like AOC said, it's crumbs. And the big banks and the big corporations, they have the money where they can leverage billions into trillions because now they're going to have the money and the assets to buy even more of the property. This is a wealth, income
it's a
switch
transfer
again.
of wealth again. Yeah, and multiple times over this time.
Nobody really should have voted for this fucking bill. We know about that. I don't want to get into that, but that's how we feel. And the government is also looking out for corporations, not you. That was what the last one I put because here's the thing, fam. Within that $500 billion that was going up to the corporations, when AOC said there are no strings attached, and when other people said there are no strings attached, they really meant it. Mnuchin, they're going to have small oversight. Once again, backdoors. Mnuchin is already saying and signaling that he can give these firms, energy firms, bailout money.
Yeah.
So you're talking about oil companies, fracking companies, once again, that are going to be able to get a handout. They pollute our waters. They take all the resources. They start wars in other countries. And once again, Mnuchin's ready to give him out because once again, backdoor rooms with Schumer and Pelosi. Nobody understands how the oversight's going to work. And if they put some stupid Fugazi czar or some whatever, some guy who's supposed to check, who's supposed to say something.
Right.
Trump has already said signs that he's going to give that money, him and Mnuchin are going to give that money to whoever they feel deserves that friggin' money. So once again, you gave them a check, and you don't even know where they're spending that fucking check.
And let's not forget, this didn't start with Donald Trump. The reason Donald Trump and the Republican administration are in power right now is because of decades of failed neoliberalism, failed policies by the Democrats, failed caring about the people, going from the Working People's Party to being the corporate Wall Street Party. I mean, elite and pro-war on top of that. And they're pretty much almost hard to distinguish from Republicans at this point. You know, they may say, okay, we support gay marriage, but that's it. And a lot of that is even a facade as to how they've only done it because of political, interests, so to speak.
So I also have that Common Dreams article right there. It just says critics warn Democrats that a mere oversight of $500 billion corporate bailout much too weak to stop Trump abuses. And the whole thing is like, remember all that language they got in there so nobody in Congress or Donald Trump or his family can't make money? But yeah, that's maybe not directly, but an overall market. We saw articles that Kushner's real estate company is already trying to evict people. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So if he can affect any type of market this way, like he can say, all right, listen, you guys vote on this. I already got $100 billion in the bank for them to get once this gets passed because I have this money on the side. So he can manipulate and kind of like force the legislation he wants as well. He can go to the Republicans and sway things his way. It doesn't have to be the micro of an individual company. It could be the macro of a certain company. Like we said, the real estate bubble, right? He's going to protect real estate. Reason why this money, this $500 billion went up to the top is because the market started crashing. So they wanted to save the market. Rather than the market crash even more, they wanted to, once again, speculation, inflate the market, give them all this money behind them so their stocks are starting to go back up.
Yeah,
you know
but that's not going to last because without the working class, your little markets are going to crash, and it's going to be awesome seeing them crash because I'm at the point where I think everything has to crash for these people to understand, and even then they won't understand. It's honestly going to take the working people to really say, you know what, we're not going to work. It's a general strike. We're not working. We're not going to pay. We're not going to do anything. And we're going to do this because we can do this at home. We can literally stay in and you tell us to go back to work. We're not going to go to work. Oh, you tell us we're not going to pay our rent. What are you going to do? Kick us out? Kick everybody out in the middle of a pandemic?
Well,
like they're capable of doing that. But if this happens in great numbers, this is something that we're going to continue to talk about. It can be extremely effective. This is how, in certain ways, the Yellow Vest movement was formed. The Yellow Vest movement formed online first. And then they organized, just so you guys know, they literally organized first online.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that because that's what it's going to take right now. I mean, listen, remember your friends? They're like, we're going to go to Wisconsin and to the convention and we're going to get arrested if we have to. We're here. We don't have to wait now.
Exactly.
The time is freaking now.
The convention, everything we've been waiting for the convention is happening right now. So we have the opportunity to start doing the things we need to do. By the time that convention happens, there can be a more solid type of organization down if it happens. Regardless of that, regardless of Bernie, regardless of the election, this has to happen now.
Yeah.
Now is the time.
And well, we have a Bernie bro who sent out a tweet. It's kind of funny that somebody goes and talks to you, fam, and Melissa Michelson sends out a tweet. Melissa M, sends out a tweet, and it says, so the Twitter lords will probably censor me for asking this, but here it goes. Who's ready for a general strike? She got 3.4 thousand.
Are you jealous?
I am jealous. So I don't get those fucking numbers.
I've been coaching Melissa on Twitter, and she wants to do a Gen X Twitter thing class, and she says you should be a part of it.
Yep. And so did the Fran Drescher. Fran Drescher.
Mr. Sheffield.
Fran Drescher.
Drescher?
Not Drescher.
Okay.
I agree. Capital has become another word for the ruling class elite when profit is at the expense of all things of true value.
She's a comrade.
We got a problem. And, you know what I'm saying? It says, when the wealthy, it says, of course, wealthy owners of capital want labor to return to work. The wealthy have access to testing and treatment. The wealthy won't be left with a massive medical debt if they get sick. Labor is being treated as a sacrificial lamb. It's time for a general strike.
Yes, nanny. Yes.
So the nanny agreed with it. She echoed some stuff. What is a general strike, by the way? General strike is a strike involving most of the workers in a country. So fam, this is what we got to do.
What was the thing in the Middle East? What was it? the strike in Lebanon. What am I thinking? The name escapes me. When I
France had
think
a general
about it.
strike once before.
No, it was Arab Spring. A lot of people are comparing the possibility of this to Arab Spring. Now you can go into say whether that was fake or whether it was this or that.
I'd rather go for more of a worker strike.
But I mean that's what the semblance of that was.
It had a lot to do with it, even in Tunisia with their Arab Spring too as well. Listen, economics are always connected to a lot of these strikes. You want to have a decent standard of living,
but they're not. In the United States, they're not. That's the problem. The United States will go and protest because Donald Trump said the word pussy.
Yeah.
Because and they'll wear pussy hats and they'll do this and
so
they'll march
stupid.
for gay rights, which I am for. I am 100%. But when it comes to economic justice, we are lacking in that. And that is what is really causing us to have these people come out on top, to have Democrats lose to Republicans. If you care about social justice issues, you must also care about the economic issues, because without those, we really don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, a general strike is needed.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, I think number one is a rent strike too. We need a rent strike really bad, which also includes mortgages.
It's already happening.
You know what I'm saying? So we got the rent strikes now. We have that going. We got to organize a general strike, but that's the rent strike right there. Cancel the freaking rent. And
ACE is an organization here that I've worked with before, and they do a lot of really great work. They were doing a lot of work for Prop 10 for rent control. We went up to Sacramento with them. They're really up there. They're really doing the work. But again, they are one organization. A lot of people don't know about them. This needs to be a huge movement.
Yeah. And listen, a lot of people don't have money for the rent. So this is what a rent strike doesn't just include people who can't pay rent. It includes people who can pay rent. Now we have some new rules and laws into place because we have to be armed because maybe you pay rent today, you might not be able to pay it tomorrow. So that's why there's groups that are taking in rent strikes. They're creating lists. They're talking about it. People have to say, hey, I'm not paying rent right now. So check it out. We gave you the website too as well. That includes mortgages too as well. And that's something we need. We really need the Congress people to get back to Washington. And 90 days, no rents, no mortgages. It's frozen and forgiven.
Period.
We also need a debt strike, fam. This is something that we don't talk about a lot. Our old partner talked about it, Robert E. Lee. Remember him?
Yes.
Kelsey? They talked about a debt strike, and which means refusing to pay off your credit card and other bills. I put this up over here, fam. This is the beautiful rising.org. Let me get it up here. I want to read a couple over here. It's by Matthew Skomarovsky and Sarah
Matthew.
Jaffe. Thank you. Stop laughing over there, Eve. What does a corporation without our own oppression look like? Some non-cooperation with our own oppression look like? God damn, my ear is bugging. Sometimes it looks like Rosa Parks refusing to sit in the back of the bus, and sometimes it's less visible. For instance, a coordinated refusal to make our monthly debt payments. Growing numbers of people are beginning to view our debt burdens as a structural problem and a massive scam rather than a personal failure or a legitimate obligation. But asking politicians and banks for forgiveness is unlikely to get us anywhere because our payments are their profits. What we need is leverage. Enter the debt strike, an experiment in collective bargaining for debtors. The idea is simple. En masse, we stop paying our bills to banks until they negotiate because they can't operate without these payments. For student loans, for mortgages, on consumer credit, they're under severe pressure to negotiate. Such a strike can be connected to demands to reform the financial system, abolish predatory and unserious loan conditions, thank you, John, or provide direct debt forgiveness. Strikers could even pool some or all of the money they're not paying and put it into a strike fund to support a campaign to kickstart alternative community-based credit systems. Fam, you down?
Yeah. I mean, I'm absolutely down. And I think, again, this is going to happen. I mean, this is already happening. It's just a matter of people getting organized and getting a centralized message. And I like that it's happening in different places at the same time and in different types of ways. Student debt 100% would stimulate the economy because students wouldn't have to worry, not just for a few months, but in general, to pay back these loans. You have an entire generation of people that is in no way in this economy is going to be able to pay back what they need to pay back. It's just going to enslave them. for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I'm gonna read some super chats right now. It's getting kind of late, but we're still rocking it, and there are 250 people watching. So thank you so much. There are 3 people holding it down on the ROKFIN. Rocky, you're the moderator over there. Keep things in order. A random nobody, you know you're someone special to me. Thank you for the super chats contribution. It is always appreciated on the couch. Wisconsin anarchist here, not voting tomorrow, fam. He's not playing by their rules. He is striking.
Yeah. Can't blame you.
Apsai. Today on Jimmy Dore, someone said, we have to pay back the $1,200 in next year's taxes. Is that true? No, we don't have to pay it back, but I believe you have to, it's tax deductible, but I also believe you have to put it down as income. So in other words, if you made a certain amount of money, oh, that girl, Pasta, you're handsome. That girl, I done looked at your thing before. Super chat contribution. Hit us up, convocouch@gmail.com. Pasta, somebody said I'm handsome. Don't hate. Johnny, don't hate.
Fake news.
Stop laughing over there. It's not
Fake
fake news. Thank you. You're
kidding.
pretty. That girl.
That girl.
I'll make sure I'll get that. I'll highlight you, girl. Jim Garrison. Me too. Fee and pasta. Exclamation, exclamation. Jim Garrison is the first guy to try somebody for the Kennedy murder. Thank you so much. For the super chat contributions, always appreciated on the couch. Missing piece. Bernie Tulsi's squad all fell flat during the pandemic. Yes, they did. Better than most. Still love Bernie Sessions talking to doctors, talking to people. That's great.
Yeah.
I still love Tulsi letting us know what's going on. Tulsi was out ahead when it came to this stuff. I would much rather have either one of those two running the show right now than the guy who's running it. But that's it. They did fall flat when it came to the bill.
Yeah.
The CARES Act. They screwed up. And now a lot of people are saying they're going to go back and get another bill. But yeah, where's your leverage, dummy? Where's your leverage? But they all should have done that. You know what I'm saying? They all should have planted a flag in the ground and say, listen, we're not going to vote for anything that doesn't have that has anything else to do with anything. Only a bailout for the people. We're going to settle the people in first, and all the other bills should have been small. And therefore, this money that's going everywhere, we need strings attached. We need to know how it's going to be spent, and we're going to need to know who's going to get it. Not just a free check for Donald Trump to do whatever. It's the same shit again. And Schumer, Pelosi control the Democrats. Plain and simple. Mockery. Mocracy. I love mocracy, fam. Would any of you run for office like Cenk?
I didn't like that he ran because he ran. Number one, he ran outside of his district, and that's not something you're supposed to do. Number two, a person who is involved with a big media company, I don't believe should run. Obviously, I'm not involved with a big media company, but I think there's something off on that. I don't know. Pasta, I've been trying to get him to run, but I would just be kicked out. They just wouldn't let me in. I would just be too much for them.
Yeah.
Like I think I can't do the whole bureaucracy that these Democrats. Have you ever been to a Democratic meeting?
Oh my God.
Like it is like I can't. You have to go through a certain process, and everybody's like, even progressives, like they're like, no, we need to do this, no, we need to do that. And I mean, that is democracy in action. Like, but they don't get anything done because they get stuck on the details and the bureaucracy of things. And that is like a microcosm of the entire Democratic Party. I mean, that is how they are. I would much rather be in a completely different party than the Democratic Party because I no longer believe it is salvageable.
By the way, Rocky's saying, take a look at the MCSC post as far as, I guess there was somebody who put something up there, fam, right? Was it Nico?
Yeah, we're winning.
Are we winning it?
Yeah.
No.
People want to hang with the fams.
Right now, oh my God. Out of 259 votes, which MCSC member do you think would be most interesting to be quarantined with? No matter how difficult it may be to choose, you can only pick one. Fam, this is almost like when Johnny plays video game. He's got to carry the whole team on his back. For this vote, I'm carrying you on my back. Because they saw my pasta, they see my good looks, they see my funniness, and therefore...
He thinks this is funny right now, which it isn't. You guys just... It's funny because of my reaction.
By the way, super chat contribution
Let's
from
be honest
Oopsie.
here.
I am Oopsie, like a typo or a mistake. Thank you very much for paying us for my mistake. Missing P says, Pasta even more handsome when he agrees with me. Handsome. Even more handsome.
Freudian slip there.
You know, if there's anybody who put a sticker on my back, it's you.
Leave her
Put
alone.
your hands down over there and look over here.
Focus.
I can see that right there. It says been sold out.
Jesus Christ.
Been sold out. I gotcha. Guys, fam
You
show.
give people migraines. That's the
Guys,
problem.
thank you so much for supporting us. Really, it's humbling at 10:30 at night over here, which is 1:30
Come
in
on,
Florida.
everybody is going to sleep at
Fam,
random
it's
hours.
8:30 in Moscow.
Like, so many people are like, I don't even know what
I
day
don't
it is.
care.
I don't know what
I
time it is.
appreciate
Come
the
on, guys.
support.
I appreciate it
It's
too, but
amazing.
it's different now. Like, the pandemic has kind of like let out a free for all. I feel like for people don't know like what they're doing anymore. They're binge watching shows. They're watching Lost. They're watching Grey's Anatomy. They're watching.
Yeah, I would cry too about friggin' Lost. That's why the dog cried. He's like, I could see him. I could see Boomer depressed on the couch. Fucking Lost
That's a bunch of
again.
malarkey.
You're doing this, John. Give me a malarkey and a Joe Biden over there.
That's a bunch of malarkey.
So speaking of Joe Biden, do you guys want to hear Joe Biden attempt to
Oh my
equate
God.
the corona pandemic to the Civil War and saying, we didn't stop for the Civil War. We're not going to stop for this. And then he said a bunch of other things that just watch the video.
Never let we cannot let this. We've never allowed any crisis from the Civil War straight through to the pandemic of 17, all the way around 16. We have never let our democracy take second fiddle. We can both have a democracy and elections, and at the same time correct the public health. We cannot.
Wow, was that the dog? I don't know. That there was a weird noise from the studio.
That was Joe Biden's dog crying through the freaking screen.
I genuinely did not understand that. Can you translate? Do you speak
No,
Malarkey?
he's saying I speak malarkey.
Okay. I know
He's
you
saying
do.
since I guess he's saying since World War II.
Okay. Civil War. But
Yeah, since
16.
since Civil War, straight through the pandemic of 17 and all the way around 16, we have.
Is he talking about Spanish influenza?
I don't know.
Because that wasn't like
That's what he's saying. The
it
SARS,
wasn't.
right?
It wasn't
Wasn't
anything
the SARS
compared to
Ebola?
what we have now.
And then on 17, it was a pandemic and Civil War. I guess I.
Well, Joe, if you're gonna talk about things, do it on a timeline. I mean, Civil War comes before. Yeah. I don't know, you guys. I honestly, I can't even laugh anymore because I just feel like this is ridiculous. How is this man the leader? Hello, this is your king, Democrats. This is your king, and he's going to lose so bad to Donald Trump. So bad. It is going to be a slaughter. It is going to be like that episode in Game of Thrones where everybody got slaughtered. Like that. It's going to be that.
Well, Bernie Sanders is getting cheated at the polls. We
Yep.
talked about it on the show, and he has made many, many mistakes throughout his campaign. We can start to list them. We've talked about them before. I'm not happy what he did with the CARES Act, but once again, you are the people you surround yourself with, right? Didn't Phil Jackson say that? You're a portion of the top 10 people you surround yourself with. But I really wish Bernie Sanders never, ever, ever really surrounded himself with some of these people who worked in his campaign. Primarily the people who work for Center for American Progress.
Right. So according to The Hill and according to other sources like the Washington Post and multiple people and
we know?
according to ourselves and other people we know, Faiz Shakir and Jeff Weber are among two of the people that have been urging Bernie Sanders to drop out of the race and endorse Joe Biden to try to get some sort of deal for the progressives. Now, here's the thing. Number one, you don't get anything if you drop out before the convention. Nothing. Like, the only thing he could get if he drops out now is to go and run third party and be an independent or whatever, which he already said he's not going to do.
You can't do that.
No, he can do that now.
No, you can't do that. You know why? Because we have sore loser laws in a lot of these states that already went. So you can't even get on the ballot in Hawaii or Florida or where else? You can't get on the ballot in 3 states now anyways.
3 states, but he technically could do it before the convention. But if he waits till after the convention, again, it's the same thing. It's worse. It would be very difficult for him to do it. So my whole thing with this is a lot of people are like, when I posted about this, It got a lot of traction, but also a lot of people said, oh, don't believe it. It's just a Washington Post.
Please.
You guys, I'm telling you this as a Bernie supporter, as somebody that's volunteered for him since 2016, 2015, that's been, avidly supporting his campaign. There is truth to this. Obviously, the mainstream media wants to disengage people from Bernie Sanders. They want to disillusion you. And again, the gentleman I interviewed earlier pointed it out. There's still 27 states to vote. We should, by not all means, say this is done. That's why I'm not an advocate of saying that, because I don't want to disenfranchise these people from exerting their right to vote. And I believe saying things like that is doing that. You're minimizing them. You're pretty much saying that their votes don't matter. But guess what? Up until now, a lot of our votes haven't been counted. You see what's going on with Wisconsin. Nobody's really talking about that as much as they should be. And it is such an important thing because it's literally showing you in real time how the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, both part of the establishment, are suppressing votes, are rigging elections. It is rigging. Is because you are literally going to disenfranchise people knowing that what you're doing is doing that, and you're going to go ahead and do it. Why? Because they want to wrap the election up. They want this to be done. They want Biden to win Wisconsin because guess what? Bernie won Wisconsin with flying colors last time around. And if he were to lose this, it would seem like that's it. And that's what they want. They want him to concede and give up. Guess what Bernie needs to not do? He doesn't need to drop out. He absolutely right now, because of what's going on, this time for him to stay in. But what he must do is, of course, get aggressive, be tough. And this is something he's refusing to do. Yeah. I criticize Bernie on this all the time. But regardless of that, I believe he should stay in to at least to the convention and at least demand something. Sit there and demand something. Use your leverage for something. If he drops out before the convention, he is going to pretty much ruin a lot of his legacy. And a lot of people are going to be beyond disappointed at him and are going to break away from him because they already are disappointed and do something even more radical. It's not going to help Bernie. It's not going to help his career. Whoever's advising him to do that because of his career, because he doesn't want to seem like he's impeding anything, is a complete idiot because you don't understand the sentiment of the people. You can sit there and say you understand, you're a consultant and you get paid the big bucks because you understand political schemes and the electorate, but you have absolutely no idea as to what's going on the ground and absolutely no idea as to what the people are experiencing and feeling. And I believe Bernie needs to listen to his base, to his supporters, because right now it's looking like his campaign is out of touch. It's making him look like he's out of touch. The working class, the organizer in chief, the guy who should be leading these strikes right now is out of touch because what we're asking for is for you to fucking fight. Yeah. Fight like you've never fought before.
I'd rather him fight on the strikes right now because here's the thing. Everything you wanted to get, you can get it right now. Right now. You can shut this shit down. So really right now, to tell you the truth, I'm not so much concerned because some people are saying on the chat, oh, he should go to the convention, then drop out and run third party. You cannot do that. He can do that. But once again, and this goes back to why Tim Canova was in 2018, left the Democratic Party before the primary to run as an independent. Right. Why? Because they have something called a sore loser law. And I know Florida has it, Hawaii has it. Once you run in one party, you can't drop out and run in another party. There's several states that do that. So it's not even really plausible for him to do that. It makes no sense to do that. That time was now. But despite fighting to stay in the convention, I'd rather him just take a stance right now. Call for a general strike. There's 3 things we should get right now, fam. $1,000 UBI, Medicare for all, and criminal justice reform. You know what I'm saying? Those 3 things. Let people out of prison. Okay, that's the third one. But give everybody a UBI. Give everybody, Medicare for all, because we can't. You see what's going to happen right now. We're crashing the whole system, right? You want Medicare for all, you people right now. This is the time to get it. Make Bernie call for a general strike. And if he doesn't, let's do it ourselves.
Yeah.
We'll
do it yourselves anyway, guys. Stop looking to people to, like, our mistake was expecting one person to do everything when his whole slogan is not me, us. And he's literally doing that. He's pretty much putting it on everybody else. But what I want to say about this whole Bernie's consultants is a lot of this information is going to come out soon, very soon, about how people were treated, about how the campaign failed in certain instances. But none of what the campaign did, even the mistakes that they made, surpasses the fact that this election is entirely rigged, has been from the start. And the fact is people need to accept that. starting with the Sanders campaign, it doesn't make you look like a sore loser. It makes you look like you're acknowledging
fight
reality.
for every vote.
Reality is this happened. You can dismiss the exit polls, but guess what? The Republican exit polls are right on the money. So I guess just the Democrat exit polls are just the ones
Democrats
that are
are
wrong.
lying, right?
Machinery that you can trace the machines, the issues with the machines. Pasta has talked about it. Other people have talked about it. And of course, who owns the machines? These big corporations. The fact that these things are hackable, they have shown in documentaries, people can easily hack these. And guess what? It's not going to take Russia to do it. It's going to take people in your own backyard to do it. And it's to me, just get rid of these people. Get rid of these people. Listen to your base. If you do not listen to your base, even bigger than losing the election is losing that legacy, losing that movement in itself. And it's either way. The movement is beyond Bernie, and people are so angry and so affected by what's happening right now that they're going to continue, and they already are organizing outside of Bernie. Right now, the conversation has moved to beyond Bernie with a lot of the hardest working organizers I know. And that's the reality. But we should have our organizer-in-chief lead a strike. We should have his support, because that would not only probably help him win the election with overwhelming support, because nobody else, Joe Biden's hiding. Trump is being Trump. Bernie has shined in regards to the coronavirus, but then in regards to what he voted on, he hasn't. And in regards to the strike, he's been talking about him, but really, like, just lead this movement now. People see him as a leader, and not everybody is a leader. Not everybody's going to go out and do these things. They want that guy who they fought for, who they literally left jobs for, who they volunteered hours for, who they gave money to support them right now in this time of need. And it goes beyond doing the chats. And I know Bernie's an older man. I know he's one guy, but at the end of the day, this is a moment to seize this opportunity and actually take it to the next level. And he could do it much faster than without him. So.
Well, it's got to be done. We need to do it. We need a red strike, debt strike, labor strike. We need to get it all. That is what a general strike is. We need to get it out there and make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. So if Bernie ain't going to lead the way, we'll lead the way, and he can come with us after. You know what I'm saying? I still love Bernie.
Yeah,
you know
I will always love Bernie.
I'll always love him, because we would have never been here if it wasn't for him. Am I very disappointed in him right now? Yes. Am I getting kind of sick and tired of some of the people all over Facebook? The Bernie bros keeping making excuses for him? Yes. We need to take all you guys, everything that he talks about. You said you were ready for a revolution. I heard so many of you say, I'm ready. In Wisconsin, I'm ready to get arrested. I'm ready to get arrested. Let's fucking do it. Let's do it. I mean, I know we're all indoors right now, but pretty soon they're going to have to let us out, and we can shut this motherfucker down. Somebody needs to organize, and we can do it systematically and smart. Like, these people strike this day. These people strike this day. These people strike this day. We can make dents where they know, hey, we have to bargain with the citizens and the workers, because otherwise they are going to crush us. Their system depends on us.
Yeah, that's it.
Seize the means.
Their system depends on us. That's what we need to realize. Without us, they're nothing. And people need to really hear that and understand that. And I'm not going to wait on somebody to do it. We have to do it. We have to take the matters into their own hands. Check out General Strike 2020. Check out the rent strike. Check out what's going on with the Amazon workers. Check out there are strikes all over the world. And like I said, we're going to cover all of that. But what I'm urging everybody to do is to stop being simple sycophants to Bernie, because we need him to fight harder. Yeah. And we need him to take this lead. And, you know, I'm not as nihilistic or as cynical as other people are in regards to Bernie. I still believe that he has done so much good. I still believe he can do more. And I believe that this situation allows a possibility for anything that happened. You guys just saw what Joe Biden said. Yeah, that guy will not be president. Our only hope right now is Bernie Sanders, even with his faults, even with everything that people want to throw at him. Yeah, even with that guy would be eons. Come on,
we know that the Democrats are not going to choose Bernie if Biden can't do it. I mean, we understand that.
But again,
that's not important. The presidency is not as important. The movement is right now.
The movement
is right now.
Get so many things and change so many things right now. It can really set a precedent.
We don't need him to be president, right?
To happen. I think we do, but I think even if we don't get that, the movement can set a precedent for what will happen after.
Yeah.
So
Well, Chuck King says, so what do I need to do to start the strike? Chuck, hit us up on the Convo Couch Gmail, and I'll tell you. I got a plan. But we're gonna need some serious organizers.
you sound like Elizabeth Warren.
We need labor organizers who know what's going on. This has got to be systematically done, and it can be done.
Non-corrupt labor, by the way, because
Absolutely.
there's a lot
We have
of
the
labor
right to do that.
is like what is it, chair of the Democratic Party.
Chuck King, thank you for the super chat contribution. Is always appreciated on the couch,
I'm
fam.
ignoring you.
But you're not.
I am totally ignoring
You're
you.
smirking. I say it's time for us to move on. Like I said, for me, it's not important that Bernie Sanders is the president right now.
For me, it is.
Well, it's not going to happen.
You can't say that.
You can't say that it is. All right, listen. I'm not going to.
You can't say it's not going to happen. I mean, you can say that you don't
Fam,
think
I saw
it's
the
gonna
movie
happen.
before. We don't. Okay. All right.
It's
But
your
it doesn't
opinion.
matter.
It's not a fact.
It
is all I'm
doesn't
saying.
matter. Everything that we want out of Bernie Sanders, all the ideas. Remember, Johnny made me watch a TED Talk, the first one. People don't follow who you are. They follow why you do what you do. Well, all the reasons why we follow Bernie Sanders are within grasp right now. And we got to act right now.
And I just
Why
wanna-
we have them by the Cunyolis before too many people get hurt and before the oligarchs take a hold of more money.
And I just want to say the reason I'm so adamant against saying that it's not going to happen is because there's 27 states that need to vote and people whose vote matters and who, if their vote isn't counted, they should see that for themselves. And that's what needs to happen. 27 states need to vote. For me, telling them that it's done, it means that you don't give a shit about those people and their votes. So that's why I believe that people should still fight. And it is bigger than Bernie being president. Absolutely. It is. We need to
It's
organize.
about the reasons why.
We need to organize.
Medicare for all is necessary. I don't think, I would never disagree with them. But once again, how are you going to get it? You got a guy running for, who's the Democratic choice, who's against Medicare for all, and that's who they're trying to push.
Yep.
So we know they're not going to work with us. Let's show them that, hey, those
They're not gonna
freaking
work with us. We're
establishment
gonna burn it
corporate
down.
Democrats. Let's start it. What's your Gmail? theconvocouch@gmail.com, Chuck King. And tonight, Chuck, you're the king. Chuck, tell us what size shirt you wear, and we'll send you a T-shirt as well. We want to do that for Chuck King. He gave us 2 super chat contributions for a decent amount tonight, so we want to show some love back.
Thank you, Chuck.
And listen, ladies and gentlemen, we will start sending out some shirts too. We're starting to get some in, but the coronavirus has made the orders crazy. I called my guy today, and he's like, he's not feeling good, so I didn't want to go near him today. I was like, yeah, I'll see you another day, just in case, because I'm afraid to get it, fam. theconvocouch@gmail, hit us up. Freedom Tribe, we love you. You need a shirt too, Freedom Tribe. Let us know where you're at. So, Johnny, anything else?
Well, there's this website. It's called genstrike.org that someone put under Melissa's tweet. And I just started reading it. It says, "We did not start this movement. We started this organization after we saw working class people launch a wave of labor strike and rent strike across the world in response to the severe negligence of our leaders as the pandemic has emerged. We were inspired into action by the workers and tenants and debtors who have already begun fighting in hundreds of mutual aid systems which have spontaneously popped up everywhere. We don't own this movement. Working class individuals and organizations own this movement. Workers who are frightened about the future. We are not leaders. We are a support group. Our goal is to help guide individuals to organizations, tools, and strategies they can use to self-organize and self-empower. We are here to signal boost, fundraise, and coordinate established groups. Here to bolster, reinforce collective action in mutual aid networks that already exist." So we should contact them.
Yep.
But, yeah, I just like how they say they're not leaders because all the leaders have failed.
Well,
and we as a class, as a working class,
we don't
need
have
to
a
be
leader
leaders.
right now. We need a leader. We need a leader.
I don't think you need a leader. I mean, I think you need multiple leaders is my point. I think relying on one person has been the mistake all along.
It's just that when as a leader who's led a movement, it's your responsibility. If that's the movement that you're gonna, die for or campaign, if you're gonna do for like over 40 years, and it comes to the most critical point in our history ever, and you're not doing anything about it, then yeah, people have the right to be really mad and angry at you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Chuck King asked
and
by
call
the
you
way.
out about it.
It's
And call
just-
you out about it.
Absolutely.
And
It's
call
not-
you out
it's
for not being
just
a
about
call you
him,
out for not being a leader. Same thing with AOC, same thing with Tulsi, same thing with everybody.
Dude, like that tweet by Tulsi pissed me off. That fucking pissed me off. Like you've had days right now to look at this thing and you're not going to call this out. This was your opportunity when everybody says, oh, we love Tulsi on foreign policy, but we think she's bad on domestic. Well, no, not on paper. You heard Nico all the time. You know, you got so many things about you right now. This is Wall Street again. Hands, pigs at the trough, hands in the cookie jar. Fuck.
That's why it's always been about class warfare. Some people don't like that term, but it's
It's
always
true.
been about class. This is top, bottom, not left and right. That's it.
So
Plain and
Chuck,
simple.
he sent another super chat contribution. Thank you so much, Chuck King. It is always appreciated on the couch. That's the jingle. I'm a 2XL, but I'm losing weight. And your email one more time. theconvocouch@gmail.com. theconvocouch@gmail.com. The name of our show @gmail.com. And what I'll do is I'll send you a XXX and I'll send you an X large. So I got something to work for and something to fit in right now. Sound good? Deal. Deal, fam, right? Deal, fam? Give me the deal. And Anthony
Or
Reyes
no
says,
deal.
Pasta says what Nico won't. What do I say? Oh, the fact that Nico hadn't called her out on this bullshit? No. I mean, I'm not going to even argue about it. We went back. We talked about the whole endorsement shit, but this is it right now. Time is, ladies and gentlemen, this bill is everything that you need to look at that tells you about your Democratic Party. And I'm not just talking about Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren, AOC. I'm talking about all of them. Where their mind is, they don't give a damn. There were more libertarian Republicans objecting to this bill for the money that was given up to corporations than there were Democrats. Thomas Massey and group. That shouldn't be. The only reason why Elizabeth Warren got into politics, she said, was to stop another bailout like the ones you saw in 2008, which
She's
she
been a
said
fraud.
eventually led to people being thrown out of their houses. Now, we just showed you an article today that says almost 15 million people might be out of their house. You can't see this shit? You got to have a junior senator, a junior congressman on the floor from Maine to say you can drive a Mack truck through the areas that the lobbyists put their fingerprints all over this bill. Fucking shit. Anything else, Johnny? I see a panda bear. Oh, dude, is this more about
It's a koala.
Okay, cool. Because the panda bear made me think about loss.
It says that the essential worker provides services critical to our collective health and safety.
Know your
$9.44
bears.
an hour. No protective gear. Kids home alone. No sick leave. Thank you for your servitude.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. So
It-
they're screwing us.
Yeah, they're actively screwing
And
you live.
I really like this tweet by this guy that was posted by the Bull Most Notes. Our so-called progressive elected officials are failing us. That includes at Bernie Sanders, at AOC, and the rest of the squad. The largest corporate bailout in history just passed with all their support. Only Rep. Thomas Massey, a Republican, voted against it.
It's sad. And guess what happens if the Republicans are gonna act better than the Democrats? Guess where people are gonna vote
gonna
in
flip.
November? And guess what that does eventually? It turns this country more into fascism on either end, and that's the reality. And yeah, it does.
We're on
It does.
fascism on both ends.
Well,
Both
yeah,
ends
but
of the
they're,
spectrum.
they're
I mean,
part
it's
of the
different forms
same
of
thing.
fascism.
Yeah,
Whatever, dude. You know, we have more
One
people, more percentage of our
fascism isn't
people.
better than the other, though.
Yeah, but they're both fascist. It's
Yeah.
which form of fascism do you want? One's a little bit more sinister, one a little bit more smart, more sneaky. The other one's in your face. At least you can see it. You know, the Republican ideology you might not agree with, but at least who they are. The Democrats say that they're going to be your friend to your face and they're going to fight for you
Yep.
because you're a minority or they feel sorry for you, and then turn around and economically screw you and throw you out in the fucking street. So I'd rather take the other one, the bullshit one.
I'm
in my
not taking
face.
either one of them.
I don't want either
so.
one of them, but let's be
That's-
honest over
I'm
here.
not gonna
I'm
okay
so sick
either
and tired
one.
of seeing a lot of those
So.
people on the left that go, "Oh, it's a fascist government." Well, who the fuck are you supporting?
Yeah, if you support a fascist and you call another government fascist, you're an idiot. Like, they're both fascists. But the point is, you don't have to support either.
Yeah.
You don't
Well-
have to succumb to either, because that's how we get Hitler. That's how we get the Third Reich. When people say, oh, well, they screwed me, so I'm going to go with them. That's how we get to that. That's how history repeats itself. You don't have to support either one. Do not do that. Do not do that. Do not let that happen. Because that completely is going to destroy everything we built up. either end. Supporting a neoliberal or a neocon is going to destroy pretty much what we do. So we need to stand against it, create our own movement, our own party, completely different as a resistance party, more of a revolution party, opposition party to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. That's what it has to be.
And let me tell you something. Anything attached to the Democratic Party from this point on, and really, to tell you the truth, people saying, what if Tulsi comes back and runs in 2024? Will you vote for her? Well, you know what? The Joe Biden endorsement doesn't bother me as much as which party she'll be with again. Because I don't know if I can support her if she's going to try to knock heads within the Democratic Party, because you cannot reform this party. This party is the worst, and they all need to leave it.
They believe that they can reform the Democratic Party.
They are wrong.
And they are absolutely wrong. 100%
Bernie,
wrong.
too. You cannot reform this bullshit piece of shit party.
I mean, she should at the very least be an independent. Like Sanders, he runs as an independent, as a senator at least.
And I'm not a big fan of the Green Party, only because they're dysfunctional as a party. Get their shit together. Love your charter, too, as well. Jonny.
Anything else?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that was a nice show. Tomorrow, we have Fatima on the show, right? Say it, Jonny.
It's Fatima. Her name is
Fatima. We have a candidate that's going to come around 2:00 tomorrow. She'll be on the show. We don't know if we'll be covering the Wisconsin primary.
We're gonna keep you posted on what's happening for sure. But I wanted to go there, and see, as an essential worker, see what I could find. But I honestly don't know if it's gonna happen or not. So it's not even worth it. I wish my friends in Wisconsin really good luck. I know everybody here has been trying to help. Everybody everywhere has been trying to help. For a lot of our friends, it was more important to call to cancel the primary, postpone it, than it was to make calls for Bernie Sanders. And this is coming from Sanders supporters. A lot of people are saying, I love him and we want to vote for him, but I can't. I have this condition. I can't go vote. If you're really going to make people choose between their life or their democracy, that is criminal. And all of these people pushing for that, all these state legislatures, all the Supreme Court, they should be held accountable for that.
That's it.
That's it.
For Pasta Jardula,
Fiorella,
Jonny Sue on the 1s and 2, Eve and Boomer over
CONVO
there.
out. Bye.
Bye.